So, welcome back, and also we have a new gentleman here, wish to learn meditation. Yeah? So, when I wasn't a monk, so that means a long time ago, 26 years ago, 27 years ago, I came across with this Buddhist practice, Buddhist meditation, and I went to practice meditation in this 10 days retreat for the first time. The first day was very exciting. That wow, I am on the retreat for 10 days, and it was quite a kind of investigation what's going to happen. And the next day, it was very, very hard. So you have to wake up early morning, and then throughout the day you're practicing constantly, every hour meditating. And you are not allowed to talk, you are not allowed to speak. That's like a complete, like a prison. Like one of the very strict prisons. And then end of the day, experience a lot of pain, physical pain, a lot of physical pain. And then there was a thought of, I think I better go back. I cannot bear anymore here now. This is not my cup of tea. There's too much pain going on. There was a thought coming in like, I need to go back. But the very first day you were told that you're not allowed to go away. And if you go away, then you're not allowed to come in again in the future. So, then, okay, let's see another day. And the same routine, sitting every an hour, and having about 5 minutes break and go back again, and meditating. And another pain. Pain here and pain there. And there was again strong feeling of wanting to jump this fence. There was a big wall, planning, okay, maybe if I jump from here, would be easier. Maybe I jump from that way, it would be easier. So whenever there is a break, it's like a prison break. Planning to come out from this a wall, like that. And this pain constantly increasing. And the instruction is that it is normal. It is normal. The pain is very normal. Just to bear another day. So the instruction is like that. The teacher is just giving a talk like that every night. And then there's a fighting going on. What should be done? And then it comes to the stage that from the moment for 1 hour you are allowed to move around, although you are sitting in the same position, but you can open your eyes and you can move your hands and legs and like that. After 3 days, you are not allowed to move. You're not allowed to open your eyes. Doesn't matter how terrible pain it is. So on the day, the instruction is given to observe. So you have to sit for 2 hours, stationed, not moving at all. And it got surprising that after you have gone through it, these pains doesn't bother you. These pains are no more pains anymore. And that's simply because the reason behind is that mind has adapted the object of a meditation. Object of meditation. So your mind now has got this object, and as a result of that, mind is not disturbed by that pain, the physical pain. So mind has disconnected from the physical pain. Right? And your mind normally with the primary object now. That's the breath. Right? It's the primary object. That's the breath. And in the meantime, in order to divert your pains or any whatever sensations or feelings are arising in your body, you're asked to scan the body, aware of those pains, sensations, moving around rather than holding on to this and that. So it is possible because a mind is settled on a specific sign. It's called a counterpart sign. And that's why I was talking about last week. I have to develop this object of a meditation. Right? When we have developed this object of a meditation, then this counterpart simply there to support us, and then with that we disconnect from the material world to the immaterial world now. Right? So material things is no more disturbing you anymore. Right? So now we are working with our so-called immaterial things. That's the feelings and emotions. So when this time comes, what happens that this counterpart becomes so fixed that we can ponder on, and we can take a refuge on at any time, any moment, whenever this is possible, whenever you like to. Even you're standing, as I mentioned last week as well, as you're standing or doing something, whenever you feel that you need, you just come back there and then you rest there. So your counterpart become like a refuge place. So you're resting there. When you manage to do that one, then at this stage, you will be able to see that your mind is there, and then you're observing something, and there is something is happening. So 3 things is taking place there now. So you become observer, something is happening, right? Something is that you are observing and something is happening, and it is going to move away. Right? So that is the stage that you come. So that's why in the practice of a meditation, what's happening here, that there are 3 types of ways of development of the practice. So number 1 is called the momentary concentration. So that's a Kanika Samadhi. Right? In that Kanika Samadhi, we've been working on that breath. On and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. I can concentrate on the breath sometimes and then it goes off. Concentrate 1 or 2 times and it goes off. And in order to establish this concentration a bit much further, stronger, we add countings, right? We add countings in a different forms, in a different way, and the breathing in a different ways, so that our mind will not bored off, will not feel fed up with that. So it will be staying that. So we're coming back again and again. So that's why I mentioned the 4 words. You remember the 4 words? Yeah. So observe, acknowledge, note, let go. Right? So 4 words coming back again and again. Yeah. So observe, acknowledge, note, and let go. So that's simply because when we are focusing on the breath or counting the breath, at that time, the mind goes off and coming back again. So there's this initial stage. So that's why it's called Kanika Samadhi. Momentary concentration goes on and on. And this counting and goes away, this long breath goes away, and this goes away. The moment when we have established the counterpart sign, wherever one particular space. When we are having this particular space, again, we develop this momentary concentration. Now from the momentary concentration, it becomes a bit longer. It's become a bit longer. And then when it become a longer, and then sometimes what happens is that mind feels lack of energy. It's the same thing repeating again and again. Why I'm doing this, right? Why do I have to watch the breath and let's say in the nostrils like that? And nothing is energize you. So lack of energy there. So that's why adding a more other stuffs there to energize you. That's why there is a concept called there's a Buddha. So repeating it. So there is the breath, the word repeating. It's called a parikamma nimit. So it's repeating the words, and then with that, what's happening that mentally you're repeating the word, and then in a surface level you're watching the breath, and then you're also observing the sensations. So these things happen, and with that, so many things to think of, so many things to ponder on. With that, there is energy arises, and with that energy arising, what's happening here that this from the momentary concentration, it is coming to be a little bit stronger. So a little bit stronger. So that's called upachara samadhi. You know what is the translation? So sustain concentration. So you're able to be with that for a certain period of a time without having any aids on it. So in that moment, you are simply observing the breath in that particular space, and then you're able to hang on with that, and you can enjoy. And then that once that happens, then what comes after that you able to firmly establish there. When you firmly establish there, what happens in that moment that there is a mind is fully absorbed with that object. So breath is never missed now. So you're constantly aware of that breath now in your nose. So remember, we are focusing on the breathing practice now. So that's why I'm emphasizing on the breath more, whereas in the past we were practicing differently. Right? So the breath becomes so. So we will not be missing this breath. So I'm constantly able to be with that breath, and that's how we establish that our mind mentally always with the breath. And this you can check yourself, not only in a meditation time, whenever you are doing something else, whenever you're doing something else, at that time your mind automatically comes back to the breath. It's like just coming back to the breath. And even sometimes when you're doing something and then you feel like, let's say if you're working on a phone or something, playing on a phone or social media, and suddenly you feel tired. And after you feel tired, rather than go into thinking of something, so mind automatically thinks of the breath. Come back to the breath. So that's the one. And another one is if you're working with another addings like the Buddha or sometimes Samma Arahang, or there are other tools also employed like crystals, like the lights, like that. So again, those things simply comes in, and with that, what happens that it energizes. Then okay, now I am in the present moment. I am here. So that moment when you feel I am here, that moment you feel joy as well. Oh wow! Have you ever noticed that? Oh wow! I am here now. I feel so light, so happy, so joy. And sometimes this is also called the rapture. So this moment of this experience of the rapture or the joy is nothing to do with the physical pain. It's not a physical pain anymore, but this is a sensation that you observe mentally. And here you see that three things here. One, the observer. Second is the body that is completely disconnected, right? And then the third, you're noticing this immaterial object. That's the feeling. Right? So this is what I'm feeling now. So that's why development of this practice to develop this the object of concentration or object of this meditation is so important. So that's why I've been going back to the same again and again, simply to let you understand that we have to develop that. So that's why they say, if you have make a good foundation, after that you can build a nice house. But if you haven't developed this foundation properly and you rush to the second stage of this house building, eventually it collapses. Quickly it collapses. So that's why we have to work on the first stage, this, the kaya anupassana, the body contemplation, and try to understand as much as possible and develop as much as possible, so that after that, as we move on from this living the material part to the immaterial part, then it becomes much easier to understand, and quickly we can develop furthermore. Right? So with this, let's practice. Sitting in a comfortable position, relax yourself, and bring your attention to the moment, here and now. And spend some times on the breath, incoming and outgoing breath. And working with your counterpart, sign the breath and your tip of the nose, incoming breath and outgoing breath. Simply observing the incoming breath and outgoing breath at the tip of the nose, and recognizing that this is incoming breath, this is outgoing breath. At this time, we are not interfering with the breath, the process of the breath. Let it flow naturally, normally. We are simply attending this incoming breath and outgoing breath. So as you are focusing on the subject of a meditation, using the 4 words, observing, acknowledging, noting, and let it go, and back to this object. And reflecting that how long you managed to stay with the subject of meditation. And how long did it take to recognize that your mind is drift away? And using this formula of observing, acknowledging, noting, and let go, and come back. So as you're establishing your attention on the breath, the subject of a breath at the tip of the nose, at this time, try to notice whether whenever you like to come back after the distractions or after you recognize the distractions, automatically think of that object, or you have to force yourself, and how long you can stay there. area of the nostrils. When you are noticing that your mind is distracted and observing, acknowledging and noticing before living at that object, what sort of mental states are there? Is there a rushing or discussion or confusion? Or straight away you think of this a counterpart sign, the breath coming in and going out at the nostrils. If the moment of a living, at that time before living, if you recognize the mental state at that time, suppose if that's coming automatically without any pressure, or you have to think of and struggle, that time relax yourself. It's called responding, relaxing and releasing. And after you release, mind automatically comes to the moment. At that moment, the mind will come back to the object of meditation. So we are not struggling, we are not fighting. Just the realization there. So at that time we are not creating any tension in our mind. We're simply recognizing and relaxing and releasing it. And after that, just settle on the breath coming in and going out.